Back with another video, guys. Why you can't find your purpose, man. And it's all psychological and it's all spiritual. I'm gonna go get some water from the Walmart, but you guys gotta understand, when it come down to finding your purpose, you gotta understand most of y'all are being distracted by people, places, and possessions. This is why you can't find your purpose. A lot of y'all don't want to tap into something called isolation. The power of isolation, man. When you isolate yourself from people, places, and possessions, and you tap into your mind, and let's say, for example, you just come home from work and come home from school and just sit there in your room and just no television, no phone, and just think to yourself for hours. Right? You know what's gonna happen when you just sit there and think for yourself to hours? You're gonna tap into something called mental, spiritual creativity. Right? That's what you're gonna tap into. A lot of y'all can't even do a couple of months without being distracted by people, places, and possessions, and just think for yourself. That's sad. Like, a lot of y'all afraid of your own thoughts. This is why you cannot find your own purpose. This is why a lot of y'all can't find y'all purpose, man. It's all spiritual. You have to go from within. From within creates without. Your within world creates your without world, right? It creates your outer world. Your inner world creates your outer world. So you gotta understand, bro. You have to basically just sit in your room or just sit by yourself, right? To find your purpose, you got to be by yourself, because that's what's going to tap you into mental creativity. You know, it all works in symbiotic connection, guys. A lot of y'all don't understand that. A lot of y'all are really, you wonder why I can't find my purpose, bro. Because you've been distracted by your friends. You've been distracted by materialism. You've been distracted by your parents. You've been distracted by television. You've been distracted by your emotions, right? Excuse me, a lot of times y'all emotions, it keep y'all stagnant from finding y'all purpose, right? Because a lot of times your emotions will tell you, bro, you need to go by your friend house, right? Or you need to go to that party, or you need to watch that movie, right? Or you need to go get them shoes, right? That's what your emotions is telling you. Your emotions is more connected to the outer world, right? But the inner world is tapped into finding your purpose, right? It's attached to the soul, right? That's what it's acclimated to, right? But this is why a lot of y'all can't find y'all purpose, man. You can't find your purpose because you're being distracted by the outer world, to the point where you're not comfortable with the inner world. You're not comfortable with being in a silent room and just thinking, right, about what should I do with my life. But I had to do that for months to figure out my purpose. I had to do that for months, guys. Sit in my room and just think about what I want to do, right? I don't even got no TV in my room. But I'm glad, you know, I did not buy a TV in my room, right? Because it tapped me into my inner world. I found my purpose through that. But this is how you're going to find your purpose, guys. No, it's spiritual, and it's an inner transformation that you have to have. You know, it all works as energy, man. A lot of y'all afraid of your own thoughts. This is why you cannot find your purpose. You know, and this is why a lot of y'all rather be distracted by the world and people, places, and possessions than to find your purpose. The average person, that's sad. That's sad. The average person rather be distracted by the world, right? And people's in places and possessions just to find their own purpose. That's sad, right? Because it subjugates you to your emotions when you are being distracted by people, places, and possessions. It's hard for you to tap into mental, spiritual creativity, right? It's hard for you to tap into your inner wisdom, right? You can't find your purpose by being distracted by the world. There's no way you could do it. I'm telling you, bro. So this is how you gonna find your purpose. A lot of y'all be wondering, like, bro, like, why I can't find my purpose? What's going on? You know, I got a job, but I feel like I'm still out of place. Yeah, you out of place because you are really out of your mind. You know, you have been detached from your soul, right? People and places and possessions has detached you from your soul. It detached you from your mental wisdom and spiritual fortitude. This is why you cannot find your purpose, right? It detached you from your mental intuition. This is why you can't find your purpose. A lot of people be wondering, like, bro, why I can't find my purpose? Bro, you are more subjugated to your emotions. This is why you can't find your purpose. This is why you're miserable, right? This is what link you to misery. This is what link you to an idle mind, right? You know, you find yourself watching a lot of drama shows, right? You find yourself watching a lot of shows that's real negative, right? You can't find your purpose by being distracted from your soul, by being distracted from mental thinking, your mental clarity, right? Your spiritual fortitude. You cannot find your purpose like that. Every single day you come home and cut on the TV in your room. Every single day, when you come home from your job, or when you come home from work, you have to get on your phone. You cannot just sit in your room and think to yourself. That's why you can't find your purpose. But I'm trying to tell you, man, I'm telling you, man, your outer world is distracting you from your inner world. You can't find your purpose like that. This is why a lot of people, even when it comes down to some people find their purpose, they can't level up to the next level, right? They can't evolve their purpose to something greater, right? You can't become something greater by not tapping into your mental fortitude, your spiritual inner wisdom. That's your essence. By tapping into your soul, you have to isolate yourself in order for you to do that. You can't evolve like that. You can't, even some people that do find their purpose, guess what? They still be miserable, right? Because they end up repeating the same cycles. This is how you end up repeating the same thing over and over in life, right? And you don't grow, right? Your mind have to expand for you to grow. Your mind have to expand for you to grow. And your actions have to expand too with it, right? For you to grow. Everything have to expand in order for you to grow. In order for you to find your purpose. You're not expanding. You're not expanding your consciousness. You're not learning new things. This is why you can't find your purpose. This is what's wrong with a lot of people. This is why a lot of people, they don't really grow that much in life. They grow a little bit. They get a job, or, you know, they go to college, and, you know, they might find their purpose, but at the same time, they still end up miserable, right? Because you feel like, man, I'm just doing the same old thing. But and it's just like, my mind is not expanding. My actions is not expanding. You're not experiencing new experiences, right? So guys, this is why you cannot find your purpose. It's an inner transformation. You like an inner transformation, right? You have to think a lot. You gotta outthink your old self. You gotta get into another different state of consciousness. You gotta tap into another different state of wisdom. Right? This is the only way you're gonna find your purpose in life, guys. I'm just being honest, man. You know, so you guys gotta understand, man. They playing music. I gotta get away. But this is how you gonna find your purpose. I'm gonna have to ride around for a little minute before I park. But yeah, guys, man, it's very, very spiritual. You know, a lot of people can't find their purpose because they just they don't understand that they don't understand. You don't understand the power of the mind. This is why most people can't find their purpose. They don't understand the power of their mind. You know, most people don't understand how the mind works. You don't understand the power of your mind, how your mind truly works, bro. Your mind truly works based off of you thinking. It's okay to overthink, right? Because when you're overthinking and you think about all this stuff, you know, it's telling you, it's teaching you to deal with it, right? Your mind, you'll end up in a maze, right? If you don't expand your consciousness subconsciously, you'll end up in a maze. If you don't expand your consciousness, if you don't expand your consciousness and actions, you will end up in a mental maze to where you're repeating the same thing over and over again. And you wonder, like, why I keep repeating the same thing over and over again, and I'm miserable and I'm not expanding, right? Your mind and your actions is all about expansion. The mind expand as much as you want to expand. But the more you tap in, you got to tap into it more, right? So you can't be distracted by people, places, and possessions to find your purpose. But I hope you guys saw this video. I have to go get some water. I got to stop back up, guys. Hope this helped you out. You have to basically isolate yourself and tap into different levels of consciousness. All right, guys? You know, you got to think. You have to always think. You got to be you got to think things through, right? You got to think life through to find your purpose. So I hope you guys got some up out of this. I hope it helped you out. Hope that it encourages some sort of way, guys. This is the Coleman Aristocracy, man. It's because your mind has not expanded. That's why you have not found your purpose, right? You have not tapped into your mind enough for something to ring a bell and say, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? You got to tap into a different state of consciousness, and that's through isolation. You got to just sit by yourself in quiet time and tap into creativity. It might take a couple of months for you to find your purpose. It's cool. It took me a couple of months. I had to do away with television, friends, people, places, and possessions for a couple of months to find my purpose, and I found it. But I hope you guys saw about this video. I hope it helped you out. I hope it gave you some spiritual wisdom and guidance. Like I said, y'all, I got some other things to do today. It's Coleman Aristocracy. I'm out, y'all. All right.